Hi everyone, and welcome. Welcome to my new subscribers. We've picked up quite a few lately. I appreciate it so much, I really do. Before we get started here, I'm going to back out and I'll show you Pinocchio. Not finished, not signed, the edges aren't painted, but this is where he is right now. I just thought I'd show it to you. See if he'll stay up there. As you can see, I decided not to leave the shadow very hard and defined. I ended up doing a lot of blending on it. So that's where he is right now. I did leave a lot of the orange and the pink showing through all around the edges, and you can see it around his feet. And there's some nice texture. I like him pretty well. One other one I'll show you too that I showed you in a few videos back. I had showed you a painting I did of a Jack-in-the-Box a long time ago, and I just showed it for a moment, and I had scraped it down, if you recall, and I kind of liked the effect. I was going to paint over it, but once I scraped it down, I kind of liked the way it looked. It felt like an old chippy toy. So I went back into it, repainted the background, and then I highlighted some of the things on him, some of the brighter colors here, and little suggestion of the details in his face. So my husband said, "Are you going to put a lot of detail in the box?" I don't think so, because I want you to go right there. So that was kind of fun. It was one I was going to give up on, and see, he just feels like an old chippy toy. So I kind of like him where he is right now. So that's where that is. Let me talk to you about what we're going to do tonight. If you are a new artist, or even if you're not, it's a really good idea to look at a lot of art. Find out what you like. If you find you like a particular artist, I mean, I like a lot of them. I like different styles, but it helps, I think, figure out where you want to go with your art. If you do find that you're drawn to a particular artist, what is it that you like about that artist? Do you like that they're loose, or you like that they're tighter? Do you like their palette that they seem to use, the colors that they use? What is it you like about it? Subject matter? Anyway, there's a guy, I mentioned him one time. I think I might have even showed you a few pictures of some of his paintings. Let me find him here. I follow him on Instagram, which you could do, and you could check him out. And I have downloaded some photos of his work. I like his subject matter. Most of all, I like the effect that he gets with paint. Let me show you some of his paintings here and I did show you a few of them a while back. I have a lot of photos. All right, his name is Kalle Wiesen, I believe. This is one of his. I asked him one time what color he used in his skies, and he said he used ultramarine blue, and it does look like that to me. I tend to use warmer blues, and his is cool, but doesn't it feel nice and sunlit? That's one of his. This is one of his he just recently put on. I noticed one thing he does frequently is he puts that suggestion of a moon in there. I've seen that in quite a few of his paintings. But I like his greens, I like his skies. I like his style. I mean, he's loose and impressionistic like I like. I mean, I like everything about it. And again, I like his subject matter. I got a few more of his here I'm going to show you too. I mean, don't they feel really sunlit? Nice and bright. There's another one. That's the one I showed you before. I think that's that little moon up in there. So what I'm going to do today is I have chosen my own photo to work from. And again, let me say this. Say you love an artist. I see no harm in all in copying one of their paintings. Now, you don't want to sell it because of copyright infringement, But it's a good practice, and if that's all you're doing, I don't see any problem with that at all. And I could do that. I could, literally copy one of his paintings, but I don't want to do that. I have chosen a photo, my own photo that we're going to work from, and got to locate it here. But my plan is to paint it and keep looking back at his photo and trying to mix up the colors and values that he used. So I have that same feel. I've never done a sky, I don't think, with ultramarine. So this would be new for me. So let me find what we're going to paint. I decided to choose something similar, a red barn. I painted this before. This is one of my photos. So, but it's a red barn. It's got some shadows, not a lot of sky, but we might even cut that tree line down more. But I want to try, again, to really compare his greens and his blues and see how we can do. So I'll be going back and forth a lot. I've got these in different files, so go back and forth, right? Yeah, here's again his red barn. Look at that sky. And in value, that's pretty dark. There's no distant tree line to see how he handled that. Oh, there's some there. Beautiful greens. So that's my inspiration. But again, it'd be my painting, my style, my photo. All right, back to my photo. So first thing we'll do is we'll get it sketched on. I did tone the canvas, as you can see, a nice bright orange, so that's my thing. I don't think he does that. And I got these out tonight to see. These are some glasses that I purchased. These are Eric Rhodes Value Specs. They're red lenses. I don't know if you've ever used, I have another thing that I bought years ago that has the red lens on it. Very helpful to look through to judge value. So we may even, use them tonight. I just got them out, so I'd have them available to me. All right, so let's get going here. And I may, even though I have my photo here, I may shift it around. Matter of fact, maybe I'll recrop it before I start. I think I might like the barn a little bit bigger. I'm pulling it to the left. I don't want it dead center. All right, so we'll take some ultramarine and some transparent red oxide, like I do frequently to sketch with, very dark color. And we'll make some landmarks on the canvas. The roof of the barn looks to be, as I hold out my arm and use my brush for reference, a little more than halfway, about in there. Maybe the side of the barn's about over in there. You play around and crop your photos, get your, whatever is your focal point, get it where you want it on your canvas. And the workshop that I did with Shelby Keefe, I may have mentioned that, but she spent a lot of time taking photos, so she didn't do a lot of cropping. She got what she wanted. That's hard to do, though. You got to be, I shoot a lot of my photos out of the window driving along, so it's hard to do. I may actually have this too big now. His darks are pretty dark. But the main thing we'll be working for is to try to get the blue that he used for the sky and the greens that he used. There's a lot going on in this. And a little structure here. And then again, I want to leave more sky than we saw in the photo, because I think the sky has a big influence on how the scene's going to look. And then there's some poles in it. Got a shadow. That's one of the reasons I chose this photo, is because it's sunlit. Shadow shape about like that. I'll also look probably at even if my barn isn't the red of his barn, I may try to make it look more like his. I just would like to end up with a painting that has that kind of feel of his. But check him out on, if you're on Instagram. Like I said, I did message him that one time and he was kind enough to respond. I can see some foundation down in here too. This side's darker. Maybe we'll go ahead and, I don't know how he starts. You know, we're kind of doing a value sketch. And I don't think he does a tone like this underneath. I haven't noticed that. And again, we're doing a value sketch. I don't know. I should look around on YouTube and see if he's got any videos on YouTube. That's a thing you can do too, is if you find an artist you like, you know, look around and see if you can find that maybe they've done some YouTube videos. A lot of times they've got DVDs for sale. This is a tree line back there. We're just getting some value back there. And this is a road that comes up. I have been, like when I've been doing red barns as of late, I've been you know, painting a value on them before I start too. I haven't been starting with a plain canvas, but I think I'm going to today. So again, I'm going to have to go back and forth from photo to photo. Let's see if we've got you lined up good enough. That's pretty much dead on there. All right, let's just go back to his photo, and I'm going to look at the sky color. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should start out like I have been with the lightest light. You know, I want to get these values right. Yeah, we'll just start off with that sky color. Okay. Again, I'm starting with ultramarine blue and white. And I normally do my skies a lot lighter than his. I see as he goes down toward the horizon, and you can't really see our horizon. I see that though that he does go a little lighter. Like if we could see, you know, if there weren't trees and we were looking down in as it came down, we might lighten that up. Like, I think he lightened it, maybe even warmed it a little bit. Yeah, when I put these red glasses on, and it's probably not as accurate looking at a monitor as it would be looking at a photograph, but the sky is very dark. Very dark. Now, does it look to be pure blue and white? Pretty much. I'm not seeing the influence of maybe any crimson. So I'm putting a little solvent in it to get it to move. And again, I have this orange tone on my canvas, and I don't think he tones. So, I mean, look how dark that is. We're just having fun and trying something different. But I'm not going to cover up all the orange, though. Boy, it is dark, isn't it? Now, as I look at it and I look down at his, I feel like that's maybe a little darker. I feel like maybe it's a little darker, so let's put a little more white in it. It's pretty dark, though. I also think I'm going to switch to a bigger brush. Okay. Wish I could get that clip tighter so that wasn't bouncing around on us. Maybe I ought to put a clamp on there. Hey, let's try that. I've got one right here. Oh, I don't think it'll go wide enough to do that. Shoot. Seemed like a good idea, didn't it? Yeah, it won't open wide enough. All right, we'll think about that maybe for next time. I'll just try to push on it so it doesn't flop around. I mean, for a sunlit day, I mean, isn't this a dark sky? Right? There are days that I've been out there painting where the sky is pretty deep blue, you know. And normally I would lighten up too as I go down. I don't know if we'll have any sky holes or not, but so I want to get it low enough. Okay. Boy, it's a deep blue, isn't it? Well, it's kind of fun. You know, I've done nocturnes where they're kind of purple. Actually, they lean more toward purple, but you know, they're really dark like this. So hard to believe this is going to end up feeling sunlit, but let's keep moving on. Okay. Need to make sure the value, maybe I'll go ahead and mix that front of that barn while we're here. Kind of jumping around. His roof is very light, so I could really go for either one, couldn't I? His roof is almost white. I think what I'll do is I'll use white and we'll put a little bit of that blue in it. So we still keep it light, but not pure white. And we'll try that for that roof. Like I say, I painted this barn before. Actually, this is the one I'm putting in a show soon. Not this, but the painting of this. In my barn kind of has a angled roof. And then it's actually a little darker on this section here. I'm really looking at his photo more than mine. I have to say, as I look at his barn roof, it is a lot lighter than that even. So maybe we'll go lighter. Let's go lighter yet. I'm going to warm it a little bit. Might be a mistake, but what can happen, right? We just wipe it off. All right, let's mix up some again for the front of the building, which is red, and it's a warm red. It's catching light. I'm jumping all around on this photo. Would be nice if I had both of them right here in front of me. Okay, so I'm mixing I'm making an orange, red, and yellow. And then I'm putting some white in it, which cools it and lightens it. Which that feels, I think, a lot like what he's got there. Of course, we have an orange tone on here too, you know. Which it's not going to feel very bright because we're painting it on top of that till we get things more covered up, you know. And the top of this is okay. Oh, I'm missing part of that. I got that pole painted in, so I'm missing part of the front. It's hard to tell at this point, I think. I'm repainting the shadow area with some color. His openings in his barn are very, very dark, so we'll keep ours very dark. This area under here is pretty dark too. Kind of using my painting over there as a guide for this. I painted it before, it's hanging on the wall in front of me, so. This little building here, I kind of missed the shadow there. There's a shadow. And it's a, yeah, I think before we hit the greens, I'm going to go ahead and try to get this other stuff blocked in. Got a little building there. I think I want to pull it more toward the green. No. Let's block in the side of the red barn, which the corner is about there, and well, we didn't need to do that, did we? So it's obviously the same color as the front, except it's going to be a little darker. We'll put some crimson and we'll put some ultramarine, so it's going to be still red, but darker. Warm that up underneath too. We've got this roof line goes across here, over and over like that. And that one's like that. I'm going to try to mix up some of his green because even in some of his where he has trees in the background, it's still that same kind of cool green. But a little darker. Okay, so I'm just going to try some things here. I'm going to try some different green mixtures. With some white in them to lighten them and cool them. Okay. So let's try our coolest blue, which is ultramarine. And our coolest yellow on here, which is lemon. And some white. Let's see, I'm trying to get in something that kind of looks like what he's been working with. I think it's more yellow than I've got it. And lighter. Let's put our glasses on, look through there. Put my red glasses on and see how light that. I'm adjusting and adjusting, more yellow, more white, trying some mixtures. And again, I'm looking my palette knife against a photograph, it's tricky. I know it's hard for you to even probably tell. I'm playing around trying to get, that looks cooler to me and lighter back in there. It's an unusual way to paint. Usually I have my reference up the whole time. I've got to get back to it too. Matter of fact, let's go back to my reference now and see if we can complete these buildings. Okay. Before we move into the greens, let's see if we can finish out the detail in these buildings. Okay, I'm trying to see what we got going on here. This is gray. That looks pretty blue, doesn't it? Okay. And we've got some foundation down in there showing. This is a red door there. And then it's over here too. All kind of multicolored, isn't it? Now we could take a palette knife if we wanted and do some of these rooftops, but we'll see how this goes. Oof, I got in that blue, I didn't really mean to. Trying to look how, looks like this pretty much does go straight across. That like telephone pole I tried to put in there kind of confused things, I think. That's enough detail for now, I think, so we can move on and get some of these greens in. Well, we could start either place, probably the foreground or the tree line. The tree line, again, I want those darker. And the green that I've mixed up here, I think is going to be nice for the foreground. Let's lay some of it in the foreground and see. that so it's not so annoying. Now we're going to put a little more ultramarine in this, darken it up a little bit for the trees in the background. Might not be dark enough. Let's go a little darker. Same green mixture, but more ultramarine. Put some of that darker mixture down in there too, along the edge. I don't know really that the road serves any, because I set the composition up so differently. I'm thinking about just doing away with the road. All right, I'm going to go back to his photo again. All right, I'm looking at a different photo of his where he did have some background trees. Again, they were a little darker, and then some trees that were closer were a little lighter, so we could, you know, put a few lighter colors in some of these. Wow, look at that sky. You know, it kind of feels like when a storm's coming into me, you know, and the sun's out. It kind of has that feel about it to me. All right, I'm comparing it to his values. My sky may be a little darker than his. Let's put our glasses on and see if that helps us. I'll look at mine, I'll look at his. Okay. The values aren't too bad. I think what I might do is even though I don't mix on canvas too much, I might lighten it up a little bit as we come down. You know, toward our tree line. I don't know how I feel about it. Now, let's see. I'm adjusting this barn roof a little bit. Let's see. A lot of times I'll get a palette knife in here and we might do that. I feel as though that peak's a little high. It doesn't have to be a hard edge back there either. Boy, very different sky than I've ever done. I'm trying to think how I feel about it. Now all of his are not as dark as this. The one that I look at before then is still the ultramarine, you can tell, but it's a lighter version of it. So, you know, would I like it better, a little lighter? I don't know, maybe. I wanted to try it though. One thing you can do is, you know, hold up paper. You can take like a different color paper and put it up there and compare to if you had some lighter blue paper. It's a little difficult to tell which shadows it. Yeah, very different than any sky I normally do. So, all right, I'm going to leave it like that. I'm just going to look at it for a while. Let me show you his again. Mine darker? Might be a little darker, huh? I'm seeing, of course I am seeing a lot more, I'm seeing a lot more texture in my sky. That's one thing I think he's doing too, is his skies are very smooth. Of course, I have orange showing through mine, but he has some pretty smooth-looking skies. He doesn't kind of have that feel. I'm sure you've been out at that time when there's like a storm coming in and the sky gets dark, but the sun's still out. I think it kind of feels like that. I don't dislike it. I'm going to look at it for a while. Again, there's his, see how dark his doorways are and how well lit that is, and the green is that very cool green. So not so different from that, I don't think. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. Just something you might consider trying. Again, if there's an artist you love, copy one of his paintings just for practice. You know, again, you can't sell it, but this is one thing I want to get rid of, is this, can't really rub it off, where I put in that telephone pole and then we didn't use it. So I'm going to want to clean that up. Yeah, I've done it before. Other artists that I loved, gives you a chance to analyze what they've done and see, you know, how it might work for you. And this shadow is kind of like that size. So and we'd be seeing some of that. It wouldn't be as light as up there, but we'd be seeing probably some of that kind of front color through there, wouldn't we? So we'll lighten it up a little bit. All right, I'm sure it needs more stuff, but you know, I'd like to kind of suggest, you know, and that was a door there. So I didn't explain a lot of things real well, but you know, some things don't matter. And that would probably come out a little further. So, all right. Again, thanks for joining me. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and hit the notification bell, and it will let you know when I upload a new video. Okay, thank you again for taking time to join me. Have a wonderful day.